Hi, Monica.
Hi, Hamden.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
Hi, I'm Miles.
We'll talk about
Inflation!
What? Prices have gone up? Prices have gone up. This is only 50 cents the last time I went here.
When was the last time you went for grocery shopping?
Like 50 years ago?
Well, things have changed and so did prices, and this is because of inflation.
What is inflation?
Inflation is a sustained increase in the general level of prices for goods and services such as housing, food, and transportation. It is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising, and consequently, the purchasing power of currency is falling.
So, do you understand what inflation is now?
Well, I think so. Well, all I know is that inflation sucks. It's the reason why I don't have any more money.
Ayon! So, let me introduce you to Mr. David.
Hi, I'm Mr. David, a professional geographer. Now let's take a look at one variation of inflation, which is hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is unusually rapid inflation. It is the situation wherein the increase of price is so out of control that the concept of inflation is meaningless. In extreme cases, this can lead to the breakdown of a nation's monetary system. One of the most notable examples of hyperinflation occurred in Germany in 1923, when prices rose 2,500% in 1 month. In late 1922, Reichsbank officials tried to support the mark by purchasing it in foreign exchange markets. However, since they continued printing new currency at a feverish rate, the attempt failed. They merely succeeded in buying worthless marks in return for valuable gold and foreign exchange. Food riots broke out. Businesses started to close down and unemployment suddenly soared. The economy was collapsing. Other variations of inflation include deflation and stagflation. Deflation, which is the opposite of inflation, is when the general level of prices are falling, while stagflation is a combination of high unemployment and economic stagnation with inflation. This happened in industrialized countries during the 1970s.
So, how does one measure inflation?
Well, you asked the right person. I am lower. I am Mr. Low. The main measure of inflation is the Consumer Price Index, or for short, the CPI. The CPI is a measure that examines the weighted average price of a basket of consumer goods and services such as transportation, food, and medical care. The CPI is calculated by, firstly, the government selects a basket of goods and services and the base year.
So what do we put in the basket of goods and services?
Okay, let's put this, and this, and this.
Ooh, medical services!
Food, transportations.
So, what will take our base year?
What about 2014?
The base year is a year chosen as a reference point for comparison with some earlier or later year. Secondly, a price survey is being conducted. Lastly, they calculate the price index of the basket by comparing to the base year. The CPI is calculated by the cost of market basket at current year prices over cost of market at base year prices times 100. Here we have an example of the HDB monthly rental prices at Kallang from the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and 5-bedroom units. Now let's calculate the CPI of the year 2014, assuming the base year is 2013. We can calculate this by taking the price of each item in the year 2014 times the quantity of each item, then adding it up, divided by taking the price of each item in the year 2013 times the quantity of each item, then adding it all up. We get 760,000 divided by 785,000, then multiplying it by 100, making the CPI of 2014 96.82. Now let's calculate the CPI of 2015. This is calculated by taking the price of each item in the year 2015 times the quantity of each item, then adding it up, divided by taking the price of each item in the year 2013 times the quantity of each item, then adding it up. We get 755,000 divided by 785,000, then multiplying it by 100, making the CPI of 2015 96.17. The rate of inflation is the percent in the CPI from one year to the next, and it is calculated by using the formula CPI in the given year minus CPI in previous year divided by CPI in previous year times 100%. Now let's calculate the rate of inflation from the year 2014 to 2015. From our previous example, the CPI in 2015 is 96.17 and the CPI in 2014 is 96.82. Now, subtract 96.17 to 96.82, then dividing it by 96.82. We get the result of negative 0.65 over 96.82, then multiply it by 100%, we get the rate of inflation of negative 0.67%.
One cause of inflation is demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation occurs when demand for a good or service increases so much that it outstrips supply. As demand increases, sellers start selling out of the product and frustrate potential customers. Their next step would be to produce more. However, if supply is constrained, their next step would be to raise prices, creating inflation. Therefore, for an increase in demand to cause inflation, there must be a supply constraint. Otherwise, supply would simply rise to meet demand.
I will remember you.
Another cause of inflation is cost push inflation. Cost push inflation is the increase in the general price level resulting from an increase in the cost of production.
What?
With cost push inflation, the inflation is determined by the amount of increase in the price of the cost of goods. When the costs of goods go up, the sellers have to charge higher prices for these goods in order to make a profit.
I will remember you.
The first consequence of inflation is that inflation shrinks your income. When prices rise, people worry whether the rise in their income will keep pace with inflation. And the more quickly prices rise, the more people suffer from the stresses of inflation and its uncertainties. Inflation tends to reduce your standard of living through declines in the purchasing power of money. The greater the rate of inflation, the greater the decline in the quantity of goods we can purchase with a given nominal income or money income.
Where's the money? Yeah, you owe us $10 million.
Nominal income is the actual number of dollars received over a period of time. The source of income can be wages, salary, rent, interest, or pensions. Real income is the actual number of dollars received adjusted for changes in the CPI. Real income measures the amount of goods and services that can be purchased with one's nominal income. If the CPI increases and your nominal income remains the same, your real income or purchasing power falls. In short, if your nominal income fails to keep pace with inflation, your standard of living falls. Nominal income does not measure your real purchasing power. Finding out if you are better or worse off over time requires converting nominal income to real income. And in order to do that, one must use nominal income divided by CPI over 100.
The second consequence of inflation is inflation and wealth. Income is the flow of money earned by selling factors of production. Wealth is the value of the stock of assets owned at some point in time. Wealth includes real estate, stock, bank accounts, and cash. A person can have a high income and little wealth, or great wealth and little income. Inflation can benefit holders of wealth because the value of assets tends to increase as prices rise. Inflation hurts those who wish to buy assets later as they are more expensive.
The third and last consequence of inflation is inflation and interest rates. Inflation rates influence whether lenders and borrowers benefit or lose out when there is inflation. Nominal interest rate is the actual rate of interest without adjustments for the inflation rate.
This just in. Singapore's rate of inflation has increased by 50%.
What? I will remember you.
The real interest rate is the nominal interest rate minus the inflation rate. The occurrence of inflation means that the real rate of interest will be less than the nominal rate.